I have this folder with me that I have accumulated for quite some time now. And in this folder, I have newspaper clippings. I have letters for BEARCAT. I have letters against the BEARCAT. I have a list of people whose lives were saved by the BEARCAT. I have photographs of floods, and I have future weather prognostications, which we will be receiving over the years. Very quickly, back in 2005, I was a victim of the flood on Marlborough Street. The water went from my ankles to my waist in 2 hours. 2 college students took my canoe and went around to help people. We could have used the BEARCAT. A year ago, I sat in the EOC, or the Emergency Operating Center, with the staff, and I watched Hurricane Irene come up, and it was supposed to go through the center of Keene, but it went to the east and whipped around to the north of us and went over into Vermont. I hope that many of you have had the opportunity to drive over there and see the devastation. We could have used the BEARCAT and loaned it to them. We know the local incidences lately that have happened. We had a very unfortunate incident in Walpole. We also, at Century Apartments, had a man with a shotgun who pleaded for the police to kill him. And I know that people will say that the BEARCAT would not have helped. Fellow councilors, I ask you to think about this. Yes, we are Little Keene, New Hampshire, but we are not exempt from catastrophe. I was told I would be totally irresponsible if I voted for this BEARCAT. I feel that I would be even more irresponsible if I did not support having this BEARCAT. And let me close with this thought for all of you. If this BEARCAT saved one life, it's worth it. So I ask you to vote this evening against this amendment. Thank you.
Anybody else wish to speak? Council Greenwald.
Thank you, Your Honor. I think I have to say that I agree with everything that everyone has said. I'm surprised at Terry. I do agree that I wish the world was a different place and that we wouldn't need such things. Chairing the FOP meeting, I would say, was one of the more unique experiences, certainly of my council career, if not beyond that. Wide range of comments, hearing that we need it, we don't need it, it's too expensive, it's worthwhile. Keene's a nice place, we don't need it. But bad people come to Keene and they bring weapons. Homeland Security is wasting money, Homeland Security is protecting us. The police are our friends, the police are our enemies. We heard it all. So after giving it a lot of thought, and I would say, as Council Clark sitting in the sun, perhaps south of the border, really gives a little perspective to think. Absolutely, I am convinced the BEARCAT is equipped for Keene as a defensive vehicle. We're not talking about what was shown in the video, the urban Los Angeles assault vehicle. This is a defensive, essentially an armored car for the police. Again, Keene is a nice town, but bad people do occasionally come here and they do bring weapons. On September 10th, do you think anyone had any thought what was going to happen on September 11th? I cannot imagine that. Oklahoma City was real. Chardon, Ohio was real. The day before an event happens, oh, it can't happen, but obviously it can happen. A number of years ago, I rode along with the Keene police, as I would urge all my fellow councilors to do, on a night patrol. And there was a situation outside the Days Inn that required the SWAT team, and they're running around in their jumpsuits, which certainly looked very military. And the individual that was taken into custody did have a history of being armed. And I had the pleasure of sitting in the front seat while he was in the back seat kicking me. So it happens. It happens often, unfortunately. Just recently, there was a situation where an individual was arrested, and I'm told that he had in his possession a loaded, high-powered assault rifle, which fortunately he did not bring to bear. Now the police and the U.S. Congress, the President and the U.S. Congress has established the Homeland Security Department to protect the public. If you don't like the Homeland Security Department or any part of it, tell your congressman, that's the venue for it, as the mayor was saying. Personally, I think they're doing a heck of a good job. They're probably doing a lot more good than we have any idea. And if in their wisdom, they feel that it's appropriate to locate BEARCAT vehicles around the country in areas like this, I trust their judgment.
God. You should be voted out of
I wish the
office.
world was different. If buildings didn't burn, we wouldn't need expensive fire engines.
They don't
If people
attack
didn't get
people.
injured, we wouldn't have to buy expensive ambulances. And, well, if it didn't snow, we wouldn't need expensive plows. But the reality of life is, it is not the way that you want it to be. We do not live in a Disney cartoon movie. We all need to work, let's make it a better world, I agree with you, do our little parts, but we need to deal with reality.
Condescending.
Bottom line for me is that setting all the philosophy aside, we need to protect our friends and neighbors that have accepted the responsibility of working for the city of Keene as police officers. We need to provide them with the best possible equipment, and therefore I absolutely support the acquisition of the BEARCAT and urge the amendment. Thank you.
Does anybody else wish to be heard? If not, are we ready for a vote? Yes. Councilor Creed.
Please make sure that the council understands that we're voting on the amendment only at this point in time, and what the vote will be, whether you're in or not.
I'm gonna ask the clerk to read the amendment to make it clear exactly what we're voting on.
So there was a move to amend the committee report, so to rescind the prior action taken by the city council on December 15, 2011, to reject the Homeland Security Grant, Elanco BEARCAT Special Mission Public Safety Vehicle.
If you vote yes, you are voting in favor of the amendment and against the acquisition of the BEARCAT. If you vote no, you are voting against the amendment and in favor of the acquisition of the BEARCAT. Are you ready for a vote? All those in favor of the amendment? All those opposed?
It's 4 votes. 1, 2, 3.
Shame on you.
Let's don't militarize our streets.
4 in favor, 9 opposed. The amendment is defeated, and we are now back to the main motion. Is there any discussion on Council Duffy?
Thank you, Your Honor. I would like to propose an amendment to the motion to accept this as informational. I move that we accept this motion as informational and direct the city manager and require staff to report every 6 months on the use and financial costs associated with the Elanco BEARCAT vehicle, including actual emergency responses by all police and fire departments in Treasure County, training exercises, and actual mileage used by the vehicle.
Second.
Before we discuss that, could I ask just a quick question? Would you be willing to do that on an annual basis instead of a semi-annual basis? Because I believe the accounting on this vehicle is actually going to be done on an annual basis.
Well, before I answer that, I do want to accommodate the needs of staff, but also the purpose of this amendment is to accommodate the needs of the people. For me, the issue here has to do with trust and security. I received, as everybody did, all the calls and emails I've read. So many things about people are afraid of this thing. They're concerned what it will do for the community. I think as a way to get used to this thing and learn how to use it and understand it in a responsible way, since it is here or is coming, that the public needs to know and be educated about how it's used, and they should be given the chance to ask questions and give input. We can say 50% of the people in this community support it. We can say 10% of the people in this community support it. The bottom line is, it's coming, I think, as a community. It's So one of our community vision goals, a transparent and responsive government. You know what? The best way to deal with the polarity surrounding this issue is to keep it on the table and act like adults and ask questions and talk about it. So if I would be willing to amend the motion to read all financial costs associated with the rental BEARCAT are reported annually, and the other issues reported every 6 months. I'm not asking that this happen forever, but I think certainly in the short term, as a way to transition and deal with this acquisition, it's the appropriate and honorable thing to do for, I believe, the majority of the people in the city who do not support